All right, hey guys, let's talk about backlogs. Why do we have them? Why do they stress us out? And what can we do to manage them? So, I have a collector brain, and I find it painfully difficult to get rid of or sell games that I own. For the longest time, any game I brought into my life, I just immediately put into my backlog, at least mentally. And I think that's where we need to start, mentally. The amount of mental stress I feel from these games staring at me from atop their shelfy graves is ridiculous and embarrassing. Why does the thought of not playing a game make me feel guilty? And, is it FOMO? Is it sunken cost? Or maybe it's an identity problem. We as people who play games tend to lean into that and make it more of a personality trait than a simple hobby. And the further you get into specific genres, the stronger that connection can become. I have always had an innate desire to stray from anything mainstream. And so I found sanctum in genres like JRPGs, shmups, and visual novels. So what do all of those have in common? Well, low sales and low print runs for the most part. What happens when something has a low print run but a cult following? Well, it becomes collectible. So what does having this collectible mean? Well, for some, it means signaling to all the others that have it, or any others that may want it, that they are part of the group. And that's just it. We want to be part of the group. And once you're in, how do you further communicate with the others in the group? I mean, you kind of have to play the game, right? And so we have arrived. How can I be part of the group if I haven't played the game? How could I possibly identify as a fan of JRPGs or even RPGs in general if I haven't played Earthbound? What would they think of me if they found out I have never actually finished Final Fantasy VI? See, these are the questions that kept my brain from enjoying the games I had, or made me feel guilty about playing the latest game that just came out on my shiny new PS5 as my Super Nintendo continued to acquire new layers of dust. So, how do we fix this? Well, the first step is already done. Acknowledgement. Acknowledging the reasons you feel the way you do is always the first step to recovery. Maybe you want to play that new game so you can be part of the current discussion as it unfolds. And that is totally okay. Maybe you want to play the same game you've played 7 times already, because it's your favorite game and it still gives you chills. That's okay too. Maybe you just like the box art or the idea of the game and like the way it looks on your shelf. That is also, you guessed it, totally okay. Coming to terms with the fact that you may not actually want to play a game is one of the most freeing things in the world to a game collector like myself. I don't collect games that I don't feel anything for. So I could never be one of those collectors who goes for a full set, because I don't really have any connection to certain sports titles or shovelware. So when you have some sort of connection to every game on your shelf, it makes this process even harder. But once you get there, it is a load off the conscience. I have games on my shelf that I was convinced I wanted to play. But I've come to realize the reason I keep them around is not for the desire to play them, but the memories surrounding me acquiring them. Who knows? Once you come to terms with it, you may even find yourself ready to sell some of those games. Others you may just want to keep around to look at, or eventually play sometime down the road without the pressure of feeling like you have to. So now we get to the big question. How do we manage our backlog? Try reframing the way you think about it. Don't think of a backlog as a to-do list of video games. Think of it more as a pool of games that you have the opportunity to pull from. And when you do eventually pull a game out of that pool to play, do just that. Play it. Don't go into it with the objective of completion. Allowing myself the option of not finishing a game was another big step to stress-free game collecting. If you hit a wall and no longer enjoy playing the game, just stop. Put it back on the shelf. Games are supposed to be fun. So pushing yourself through a game you no longer find fun puts you on a fast track to guilt and resentment. You can always come back to it later if it pikes your interest again. So, with all that being said, get out there and enjoy your backlog. Play that weird game you forgot you even had.
What the fuck is this?
Or, just stare at it like usual. But instead of the guilty psychotic stare you had before, now you can gaze upon your games with a more happy and maybe less psychotic stare. Anyways, get out there, enjoy playing games, and as always, have fun. Later.